Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the suspected MS-13 member imprisoned in El Salvador, returns to the U.S. to face a number of human trafficking charges in Tennessee. Let's break down the indictment. All right, count one includes conspiracy to unlawfully transport illegal aliens for money. Now, Garcia faces up to 10 years in prison and $250,000 in fines for that one. Count two covers the physical transportation of illegal immigrants. Now, here's what Attorney General Pam Bondi said yesterday about the indictment.
He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother.
Former ICE Acting Director Jonathan Fahey is here to react. Jonathan, thanks for being with us. So let me just start with this. Do these indictments completely put to bed the idea that we're just dealing with a Maryland man here?
I certainly hope so, because we've seen so many absurd statements by these Democratic politicians, Maryland man, Maryland father, and it's just absurd. And you played a clip, I think, at the beginning of your show about Senator Chris Van Hollen saying all he cared about was due process. But if you look back at his earlier statements, he was actually defaming ICE officers, saying they illegally abducted Maryland man and referred to him as a constituent. So it's funny how they're changing their tune now to say, oh, we only cared about due process. Yeah. We weren't really advocating for him, but that's not true at all. But I hope it puts it to bed, and it does show that President Trump is putting public safety ahead of all of these other things and putting the American people first, which is about time.
You brought up Senator Van Hollen. I've heard him say, all I care about is the rule of the law. Not this guy, just the rule of law. But if he cared about rule of law, we never would have gotten to this point, right? Because this guy would have been deported from this country years ago.
You're absolutely right. And none of these Democratic politicians were talking about the rule of law when the Biden administration not only was refusing to enforce the immigration law, but was encouraging people to break it. But what's really important here is he was stopped in 2022 with these illegal aliens in the car. This was referred to DHS. They chose not to do anything with it. This was under the Biden administration, where his DOJ wasn't basically prosecuting any immigration cases. So he could have been stopped in 2022, but they didn't follow the rule of law because they had a political agenda of open borders.
I want to get to this as well. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he condemns, quote, chaotic federal sweeps across California as protesters are clashing with ICE agents there. Jonathan, this to me, one, it looks very dangerous, but two, what these protests are doing have to be illegal because they're obstructing federal agents. What's your take on this?
Yeah, exactly. And this is such a cynical ploy that the Democrats are doing all throughout the country is they create the chaos and then portray themselves as standing up to the chaos. It's so cynical, and it's putting these agents at risk. It's putting members of the public at risk. But yeah, they're obstructing these agents doing their duty. And the one thing that's in particular that's being referenced recently, these agents were serving search warrants, which, as you know, are signed by a federal judge. So they're not just there, going rogue. They have authority of a judge, and these Democrats, these politicians, are not only standing in their way, they're putting them in danger, and they're marginalizing them, dehumanizing, and putting them in future danger in other operations as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely not chaotic. It's completely consistent with a judge's ruling and the law. Jonathan Fahey, we got to leave it there. Really appreciate your perspective today. Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.